Hello everyone, it's Stephen North. I'm here to talk about a post I made earlier today. We're talking about depression. That's not depression. I'm going to explain to you right now how I came about this feeling and before checking with Amy. And this feeling was really interesting because it was a sadness that I could not actually understand. It was a sadness that I couldn't feel. I couldn't feel what I was feeling was, what is the point? What I was feeling was, why should I continue doing this work? Why should I continue with the heart activation music? Why should I bother? Why should I continue making the effort? And this feeling, these questions are being asked by every single light worker right now. It's true. It really is being felt. The light worker community is being hit by this depression that they feel like quitting. We're going to create an invitation after this, but we're going to talk a little bit more about it because I've tried recording this so many times in order to try and explain it. So this depression that we are feeling at the moment isn't ours. It's not even depression, because depression is defined as a neurological or a chemical imbalance in the brain, and this has got nothing to do with the brain. This is because we have the awareness, because we are so in tune with our physical bodies that we can actually feel other energy systems that aren't ours, and the trick is really to determine which is ours and which isn't. I had to go through the process of trying to understand why I felt so freaking sad. I came back traveling, and I was speaking with friends such as Rachel Tuana, trying to isolate why this sadness was existing, why I felt like I no longer wanted to continue, after spending everything I had in order to try and succeed in the US, to try and raise awareness and see if I could create more business connections in the US, to expand, to meet publishers, to speak, to go to a sound healing conference, etc., etc., etc. And I was like, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I don't have the motivation, I don't have the energy, I'm feeling lethargic. And a lot of these light workers are feeling this, they're quitting. In the conversations, once I got back from Perth with suppliers, they're saying that a lot of these businesses are quitting. I'm seeing people in the spiritual community quitting, and we shouldn't. We're not supposed to. But the economical viability is really struggling. But why are we feeling this pinch? If we were to describe it is a pinch. And the reason why is because, as Amy explained through Jocelyn Joy Thomas earlier, was that you could see life, you see yourself in a slingshot, and you're being pinched, and you're feeling the pinch, and you're about to get let go into the energies of 2019 into 2020. So if we started looking back at all the years of the past few years, we've experienced hardship, we've experienced financial difficulties, we've experienced struggle, we've experienced lack, we've experienced relationships, we've experienced death, we've experienced so much that has been testing. I know I have. I don't have a car anymore. I don't have a house anymore. I got rid of all my as many of my personal belongings as possible, just so I could pay bills, just so I could pay debt, just so I can get rid of the old energies of stuff that I had, stuff that was in a storeroom. And years ago, Amy was explaining, see, the storeroom is your bioenergy field, and all that you've got in there is clutter. We need to get rid of it. So we've been going through all these struggles, and from a higher perspective, as what are the conversations I've been having with myself or whoever over the past few days, is that it is preparation. All this has been training. All this has been an experience to learn how to be mentally prepared for that of 1920. Amy explained that the 2020 energies are going to be so profound, so fast, that if we're not mentally prepared, we are going to be having issues. We are going to be struggling. The energies of 2019, the build up to 2020, if we are not prepared, we are going to be sinking. And that is the way she put it. If we are in the slingshot, we're being pulled back, it's going to let go. Are we going to fly, or are we going to sink? And that is why we are feeling this sadness, because this is getting us mentally prepared. It is not our sadness. It is not your sadness. It is an emotion that the collective field is experiencing because it doesn't know what to do. We do not know what to do, and we are feeding that collective energy. What do we have to do right now? Rest. Rest, rest, rest. Whilst the 2019 energies are already here because of the transition between the years, if you want to call it that. I mean, I don't believe in time. I don't. But, you know, this is this framework that we're working in this physical version of what we live in, what we call reality. Because the energies are coming in, you can start feeling yourself more motivated. You can start feeling yourself more energetic. You can start feeling yourself with, I have a plan. I have ideas. If you're getting ideas during this past month, you need to write them down because these are ways of communication. In fact, the spirit guide realm is getting prepared to be more involved, to be more, let's use the word, communicative with their incarnates. 2019 is going to be a grand year for communication between the spirit guide realm and the incarnate realm. There's a lot, even as Amy explained, she says there's more people involved in, like, more spirit guides and guardian guides, which people have incorrectly labeled as guardian angels, which implies that there's a flawless being looking after you. But what's a guardian guide? It's a deceased loved one. So if your mum passed away, they come back as a guardian guide to help you out, to help family. They act as a guardian guide, which is not the same as a spirit guide. The spirit guide is there and is with you for your entire life, has sat down for approximately 30 years to plan your human life, and so many people are kind of like looking at this augmented reality of angels and other stuff. Let's focus on reality. Let's focus on the human connection, the most easiest connection you can make with consciousness, and is that within the spirit guide realm because it's right at the same frequency as us. Just maybe 2 or 3 hertz away if you want to use electromagnetic to measure it. It's not, we don't have to go, like, if we can say here is our realm, spirit guide realm is just a little bit above, but everyone wants to go up here because they want to look for something more pristine that's more grander than them, when in reality that the human is the grandest being. Anyway, so this depression, we would ask that you would sit with it. If you're feeling it, we would ask that you use light, because emotions are a light frequency, which is what we teach, which is what we share. And another of the workshops that we share is how to work with that light. So we ask that you sit with it and speak with it, because if you begin speaking with this kind of emotion, understand that it's just there to help you mentally prepare yourself, and the quicker you can work with it. I mean, it's only recent. This is a new feeling. It's only been in the last 3 months. This feeling is coming in. It's there to force us to rest. It's there to force us to realize that there is a shift in the consciousness of working individually. What I've been sitting with for the past few months myself is that, and looking around and analyzing the industry, is that the whole aspect of individualized people doing things is no longer working. It needs to be done as a collective. And I've been communicating with many people in the field to say, hey, we need to come together and work together. One of the things that Amy actually invited us to do is to create a group of light workers to support each other. And I have been working on this secretly to try and build up the model around this, because what I've seen is that if we're going to create something like a Facebook group, people are just going to link dump, people are going to spam themselves to try and get that individual attention. They're going to try and promote their own events as a form of marketing and advertising, and to kind of say we do not want this. So I realized that the best thing to do is to get off social networking, because social networking doesn't really work for the collective. Whilst it is there to teach us to get ready for the speeds of the 5th dimension, which is what these mobile phones are for, which is what the internet is for, is teaching us the speed of communications in the 5th dimension. What we are missing is the lack of human connection. So what we started to look at doing is creating social groups which are pretty much coming in for coffee and cake. When I was running the sessions in Como, because time, because because time wasn't limited into this time I could use, the hours I could use the venue for, we had a social group there where we would come together, talk about what we're feeling, talking about our emotions, and really just listen to each other, what we're experiencing. We weren't trying to resolve anything. We were just talking, and by talking we could actually help ourselves and one another with what we were experiencing. And then we did the heart activation session. So it was very casual. Sometimes we were there until like 11 at night, 1 o'clock in the morning, sometimes just chatting, having cake, coffee, whatever, depending on whose birthday it was. And when I moved to Vivacious, because time was limited, the whole structure of the group sessions changed, where I became more physically involved with the channeling. It didn't happen. So what we were kind of all talking about was to bring these groups back. So next year, 2019, we're going to start creating these group sessions, more to just socialize. It's what we want. We're trying to create networking groups in the sense that the networking group is to bring people together, not to advertise, not to promote, but more to say, hey, this is what I offer, and this is what I'm experiencing. So the people can come together and say, hey, Lightworkers, we are a collective, we aren't here to compete, but these are the services that I offer, and this is how it works, whilst I'm also trying to figure out how to do it without the commercialism. So maybe we'll just start with a social group, coffee, cake, bring people together. And that's what I think a lot of people are longing for, is that connection to bring people together, to just chat, socialize. Like, we see everyone, and it's really interesting, the dynamics in the psychology on social media. When someone starts posting something, you're like, hey, who are you? And compared to talking to someone in the physical, and I've seen a difference in myself. So understand, let's get back on topic. The depression, it's not yours. There's nothing wrong with us. It's not neurological. We don't need to take antidepressants. We don't need to take drugs. We don't need to take sugar, but we do need coffee. Not really. Since I've gone to almond milk, I've actually consumed less coffee, which is really good for me. Okay, so we've been recording this for 12 minutes. I'm hoping to also create virtual groups for those that are around the world that want to communicate, and it's more about social networking, creating just conversations, really a place to explore what we are feeling, because as we come together as a collective, as we come together as a group in physicality or online, not on Facebook, but in these video webinars, conferences, seminars. That was like 3 words trying to merge it as one. When we are working with an emotion, we can clear it much quicker for the collective, and that's what we need to do to come together. We can all sit there and talk about this depression and shift it really quickly. We found a venue in Perth, Western Australia, that we can book. Would you prefer it during the day? Would you prefer it in the evening? I mean, this venue is available from Monday to Friday. We can do it during the day, and if you have a business, you can claim it as a business expense. I'm sure that we can do that. We can charge invoices. You pay us, we pay you, whatever. I don't know how it works. Actually, no, you just pay them and pay the supplier, and they give you the invoice, and you can claim it on tax. Anyway, so the necessity is there. If you're hearing this and want to get involved, let us know. If you have a venue and would like to provide it, to come together and bring people together, let us know. And if you're around the world and would like to be involved, let us know, because we can create I can figure out how to create a social group. I do work with WordPress a lot. I taught myself, reverse engineered a lot of stuff, and I can create membership platforms. I just need the service. So yeah, lots of different things. So that I'm going to leave it there. It's 14:14. So I thank you all for your time, for listening. Understand that it's not you. There is nothing wrong with you. You are being prepared for what is to come. We are being mentally prepared for what is to come, because next year is going to be a big year. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be an intensive build-up, and we are being prepared to fly rather than sink. This is Stephen with Amy North and Archangel Michael and everyone else. We are with you. God bless.